Hey everybody, welcome to HopCast.
Thanks for joining us again, everybody.
We're back at Goose Island.
Of course, why wouldn't we be?
All right, I'm Brad Chmielewski.
My name is Ken Hunnemeder, and we want to introduce you to the new brewer here at Goose Island Clybourn. So finally unveiled, dun, 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 dun. It's Jared Rouben. So thanks, Jared, for coming and talking to us for a little bit. You've got quite a project coming up here.
Yeah, what we've done is we brought in Crop to Cup Coffee Company, local fair trade, get their beans from Uganda, and we've kind of intermixed their product with ours. And what we're bringing to the table is liquid inspiration stout, and they're bringing different blends of coffee.
Right.
So we're gonna kind of look at what coffee works with the beer today, and
What we've done is basically, before we tasted the beer first on its own, and then after that we've gone through different blends of coffee and using additional ingredients like spices or lemon peels, and we really wanted to create a better product because Crop to Cup on its own is delicious, and liquid inspiration on its own we feel is delicious as well.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to marry the two together and really create a unique blend of both.
Absolutely, and this is going to be like kind of an ongoing rotating deal here at Goose Island, where you have like a dedicated tap that's constantly rotating with a different blend from Crop to Cup with that liquid inspiration, depending on what we come up with today as far as blending goes, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, it is a rotating tap, and we'll take the different blends that we've chosen, and once we put them in Hofsteving kegs, so 15.5 gallons, and once the blend is done, it's done, we move on to the next keg.
So we're going to just basically show you liquid inspiration in a new light, kind of like all these different infusions. You can have liquid inspiration on its own right now, and then you can come in and get it infused with all these different, we're going to explore the different avenues.
right. I'm excited to taste the coffee and taste the blends. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's try them out.
Awesome.
Let's talk a little coffee now.
Absolutely, and who wouldn't want to do that? And we've got the perfect guy for the job. This is Jake Elster of Crop to Cup Coffee. So thanks for sitting down with us. Your company is very, very interesting in the way that you do business, and so I wanted to kind of tell everybody a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, I'm just happy to be here. Beer and coffee, my two favorite functional foods.
It's been a great day.
It really has been. Getting a bit geeked, but it's all worth it if the craft is where it shows up in the end. So Crop to Cup, we are importers of exotic coffees from exotic origins. We import directly from farmer groups, so we actually build a supply chain that goes all the way down to the farm level, which is how we get our name from Crop to Cup. It allows us to do a couple different things in terms of social standards and making sure the farmers are taken care of, transparency, traceability. We're proud to say that you know that this coffee came from these farmers. And then we take it a step further. We try to engage the customer in this as well. So, for example, you can email your farmer, and they'll get back to you.
Wow.
It may take a week or two, but they'll get back to you with up to video as well. So we do Skype video with these farmers, and trying to take technology to the farm, in pursuit of our mission of bringing coffee lovers and coffee farmers closer together.
And from what I understand, you compensate the farmers more so than they're typically used to getting paid, and I'm wondering what is behind that, how you're able to do that.
Sure. Well, there's about 100 different pairs of hands and 7 different industries that separate your farmer from you when you drink the coffee. And so we are able to cut out a lot of that graph in the middle and save some money there and make sure that just the farmers get a fair share of that portion. So it really is actually more profitable than if you were to do it through the traditional commodity market, which is kind of old. It hasn't really changed much since it was begun, and so we're ready for a 21st century coffee sourcer. Yeah.
And then you guys are home based in Chicago.
That's right. Yeah, born and bred.
So that's why Goose Island and you guys seem like a perfect pair.
Absolutely, yeah. And so we just brought a variety of coffees today, some of which we have imported ourselves, other which are from origins that we are looking to expand into, but just to bring an exotic palette of options here, each one more different than the last. And that way we can just have a palette to choose from. So.
Just like Goose Island beers.
That's right. Can't go wrong.
Well, that sounds excellent. I'm so excited to see the final product and also see the making of it.
right? Tasting is believing, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
So let's taste more.
Let's taste some more.
Okay.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So we're taking a look at what different coffee ingredients you can add to make a perfect marriage with your stout. The Liquid Inspiration American Style. Stout is what we're starting with, right?
That's correct.
So we talked already about taking some of a vanilla nut sort of approach, taking a Brazilian bean, which are known for nutty tones, specifically almond and hazelnut, mostly in the aroma, and adding that in for the aroma's sake. Also adding in one of these vanilla beans that you brought to the table today to get a more creamy texture to the beer, as well make it a little bit more sweet. So that was the first one we went through, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, number 2, we were taking a look at Robusta. So this was having to go back to a little coffee education 101 in the sense that there are basically 2 types of coffee out there. You have Arabica, which is grown high altitudes. It's very subtle flavors. It's what you drink anytime you go to any coffee shop here in the U.S., right? And then you have Robusta, which is its lowland cousin. Really big, bushy plant, small beans, high caffeine, really astringent, pungent taste and aroma. They're used mostly as a blend, or in cheaper coffees or instant coffees. You can either take a berry from a tree and just dry the bean in that cherry. It gives it a lot more acidity, a lot more sort of aroma and some pugnancy. Or you can wash it. Most of the coffees we drink today are washed. Robusta is normally dried naturally, just picked in the berry, because you're going for that pugnancy. This one was treated as a specialty coffee. It was washed and dried like a specialty coffee would be. The next one we talked about, we already experimenting around with a little bit here. It's just the made with real espresso concept. The idea being that espresso is actually a method of preparing coffee. You can have an espresso roast, you can have an espresso blend, but neither of those are really espressos. They're just means of getting an espresso shot, which is made when you actually brew coffee through an espresso maker. Fourth blend. Okay, so we have this French roast coffee that is just known for having baker's chocolate, sort of this chocolatey sort of feel to it. And that's sort of your classic thing that you may want with a port, at least, or a stout, in my opinion. So from that basis, to do something exciting is where we can go. We brought up some ideas in brainstorming this. One was based off of a coffee masala idea, which is cardamom and cinnamon, basically. Another one was inspired by Mexican hot chocolate. So taking the chocolatey aspects of this coffee and then adding a literal pepper to it, and then having that go into a porter or stout, more likely a stout.
I like that Mexican.
Oh yeah,
It's spicy.
I'm excited for that too.
Yeah,
That's one I would really like to slot if possible.
I'd like to use unique blends and unique spices, but I want to make sure you want more than one. We want a drinkable beer, not one that people will blog about or tell your friends and only order once.
Yeah.
It's something that you're like, wow, I could have a double.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with it.
There's one I forgot to tell you about. This one's going to be really cool. The Yirgacheffe. Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee, right? We kind of know this. There's a region called Sidamo, and within that region there's a place called Yirgacheffe that's just known for blueberries in their coffee. So take a smell. Basically, and Neil's really the expert on this side of it here, but there's a component to soil. There's a component to soil called malic acid that gets into your coffee. The higher amounts of malic acid, the more wine types, tastes, and flavors that you're going to get out of a coffee.
This is the one I want to use.
This is why African coffees are famous, is because they have higher malic acids than most Central and South American coffees.
Cupping is basically kind of like a wine tasting, in that you can examine the coffee on a micro level and pull notes out of it that you're not necessarily going to get if it's just a drip cup of coffee or French press or something like that. We can really isolate things in a cupping. And basically what it is we have about 7 to 9 grams of ground coffee to about 5 ounces of water. And what happens here is that we're going to introduce the water.
What temperature is the water?
The water should be about, 205? 2 to 205 degrees. And the first thing we're going to do is smell the dry aroma of the coffee. And then
Which coffee is this?
this is the Robusta from Panama. After that, we introduce the water to it. The coffee is going to steep for about 3 minutes. And after that, and I'll walk you through this, we're just going to get our noses down in here, and the coffee forms a crust at the top. And then we break it, and that releases the second kind of burst of aroma. So we get the dry aroma first, then we get the wet aroma. After that, we clean it off, and then the actual cupping part of it begins, and we are going to, it's kind of like a soup spoon. Typically a cupping spoon is a little bit deeper, and we're going to just dip it down, put it to our mouth, and like that. So you're going to look really silly doing it, but the reason you do this is twofold. That's to spread the coffee evenly across your palate. So you taste different things in different parts of your tongue, right? So salt, sweet, bitter, and this evenly distributes it across your palate, but it also gets it up into your sinus cavity, because 70% of what you taste is smell. Everybody grab a spoon here. And then basically, like I said, we're just going to dip it in here and bring it up to our mouth. And
You gotta tell me
It's like a-
what just happened.
It's a violent process.
It is.
It's a,
Yeah.
yeah. Dry run.
Oh, that was a good one. I think this is going to be great with the Mexican hot chocolate.
Yeah.
I think this would be wonderful with the vanilla bean. I really, really enjoy the correct my pronunciation? The Yirgacheffe. I think it's phenomenal. Robusta, I'm not so sure.
Not so much. Okay.
Not so sure about
Because
that.
that's typically blended with other things.
It is. And Robusta, for our purposes, was an experiment.
Right.
All right, so we've selected some options that we want to at least test out a little bit further.
Right.
And here we have 5 different slots, French presses, that we're gonna use to try to combine with different spices and get some desired effects. Let's start with the lemon zest, actually. But what we're taking a look at is actually how they get along.
Just flavor profiles.
Yeah.
Okay. That's neat. Because it's such a hoppy stout,
Yeah.
like hops just by nature have a lot of citrus. And
Yeah.
I think it works.
Bringing it out a little more.
You're right,
Lemon.
and I gotta be honest with you, Ken. When Jake first approached me, especially knowing that we had Liquid Inspiration Stout on tap, and it is a hoppy American stout, I was a little concerned. I didn't know if the large amount of hops and the coffee would butt heads.
Just because it's so assertive.
Yeah, or work together, and it seems like it's working together.
So far, this one at least.
Yeah.
I would like to try the cinnamon and nutmeg in this one. So this cinnamon is special because it smells like apples right off the bat. I normally associate apples and cinnamon, but I never really smelled
Seems like,
apples and
it's the
cinnamon.
best of all worlds, right?
Yeah, so that's cool. I think it's going to go real well with this. Let's give it a shot.
And we broke it up because on its own, when we just opened this, none of us could really get any of the aromatics of the scent. It doesn't even smell like cinnamon. It smells like
Pepper.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does smell like pepper. And then once you break it open, and Dave was talking about this earlier, what did you call it, a controlled environment? Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I mean, it's absolutely true, but once it's exposed...
It's just like crushing up hops, man.
True.
Just tie it all in.
True.
It's good.
It is good.
That is good.
I like this a lot better than the last one, too.
I get like a Lucky Charm sweetness.
It
Like
has
fruitiness or just sweetness?
I think it's a little
Oh
bit
my
of both.
god. You're talking about the grain of the Lucky Charms. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
That
sugar,
malts.
those crappy
That-
little marshmallows with that
Yeah.
grain. Yeah.
What do you guys think? Are we going to try this one?
I like it.
I would love this. Yeah, why
Brad?
not? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we got a barrel for it, man. Unless one of these spices just kicks it out. But right now,
What are we on, 3?
I think it will.
we have 3 checked off.
I
I
think
like
the
this one, don't
spices
you?
are good.
Well, I really like the coffee. I just don't know if it will make quite an impact on the beer.
Do you want some
I
of
got
that?
some.
What do you think, Brad?
It might have thinned it out too
I
much.
just think it's
It's
lost.
muted?
Right, it's lost.
You think it's lost?
Tastes
Everyone-
good. And the coffee tastes good.
But not together.
You try it?
All right.
Yeah, I got it.
You're all right. I agree.
Yeah.
It's muted. You're right. It's incredibly subtle, but I do believe we've got new complexities here as well. And the fact that it's sitting in the beer for as long as it is, because once it's in there, we're not.
The vanilla is.
Right.
especially
I think this is
in
perfect.
there.
How long are
I do
you
too.
going to
I think it's
condition that for?
Until you finish the keg. I mean,
Oh,
once it's
yeah.
in there, because it's in a Hoff Steven, so we'll bung it in there with our cheesecloth, and then it's done.
That's actually it's an important point to bring up. I mean, coffee and beer are both dynamic. I mean, the flavor will change in the keg
Absolutely.
over the course of time.
Always evolves.
Same with coffee, so it's kind of like a dance in that sense.
And it's good to start subtle rather than strong.
Yeah, I agree. So as soon as you bung it up, you ready to tap it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, the beer is already fermented. It's already done.
All right.
This is actually basically just marinating.
So do we need these to be more bold because we're introducing it into beer?
Exactly. How does this meld with the beer? We're taking two great products, bringing it together to make an even better product.
Oh man, I'm pretty hopped up on coffee.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm like kind of like buzzed on coffee or buzzed on beer. It's like, you know, one's bringing me up, one's dragging me down, but I've had a happy marriage of both. It's been great.
So we looked at some great blends today.
Yeah.
And yeah, so many good ones. Some maybe didn't work, but
That's what it was all about.
Well, what was great today is that we learned, and was really the point of bringing Crop to Cup. You know, my background is beer and culinary,
Right.
and I definitely could, learn a lot more about coffee. And I think actually coffee and dark beers marry very well together.
right.
So the great thing about bringing Crop to Cup and Jake Elster over here was that he showed us different blends like French roast and what was the Yorga, which had that great
Yeah.
blueberry
Yorga
note.
Chef.
Yorga
Yorga
Chef,
Chef,
that had
yeah.
the wonderful blueberry notes to
Yeah.
it.
That was nice.
And some really worked, some didn't. We felt, in some of the blends we kind of went extreme. We incorporated Szechuan peppercorns, even harissa, lemon peel, which actually I thought worked very, very well, which is
Brought a nice
traditional with
freshness
espresso.
to the,
Yeah,
to the coffee and
very
to the beer.
refreshing. Absolutely. So, the lemon peel and the French roast worked very well for us. The Yorga, which had the blueberry note, worked very well for us.
Yeah.
And we had these wonderful cinnamon sticks that almost had apple notes as well.
Yeah, when you broke them up, the
Beautiful
aroma
aromatics.
came out, yeah,
Absolutely
nice.
beautiful aromatics, and it's fun. And like I said, the main point of this was to create a better product, not just to incorporate coffee, because people enjoy coffee and beer, but truly bring the two together to create something beautiful.
right. And so what's moving forward in the blends? Like, what are we gonna see on tap now?
You're definitely going to
Yeah.
see. Well, like I said, you can always get liquid inspiration.
Okay.
We're never going to take that away, but what we're also going to bring with Crop to Cup is something with the Yorga blend, which gives it a blueberry hoppy American stout, with these cinnamon sticks, which gives it that cinnamon apple and hoppy American stout. So bring complexity, bring different flavor dimensions, and definitely challenging the palates of our consumers.
Mhm. So definitely, like, the project is underway. When can we expect to see some of these here at Goose Island Clybourn?
Next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to finish up today. We'll throw these different blends in Hofstevens kegs. And by next week, you'll have delicious
All
coffee,
right.
Crop to
Wow.
Cup coffee stout.
Look forward at the beginning of February in 2010.
Yeah.
You can find some constantly rotating blends of liquid inspiration here at Goose Island Clybourn. That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah. So and they'll keep rotating them as fast as you can drink them. So
So the more you drink, the sooner another one will be on tap.
So yeah, we want to thank you so much for having us out and showing us such a unique little experimentation. It should be quite enjoyable for everybody. Come on, check it on out.
Thanks for watching.